Good morning. My name is Richard Wexler, and this is Caring in America. So what are we going to talk about today, folks? We're going to talk about that word I bring up a lot, education. Why? So I've been doing this now for a while, as you guys know that listen to me, almost 19 years. What have I seen? What's changed? And unfortunately, not a lot. We got a lot of people out there willing to help, providing services as our loved ones, older loved ones age, as we have needs, care needs, etc. But what have I seen change in these 19 years? So, Points of Life, my main business, stood in front of and appeared on Zoom with thousands of people, trying to get them to understand this issue of aging. I get it. It's not fun. You don't want to talk about it. I get it. But the last time I checked, it's a good thing to be aging, because the alternative is you're not with us anymore. That's real. So would we rather age the way we want to do it, or in some other fashion? If eventually we need care, would we rather have some control over that or not? I mean, it's really that simple. And it's like most things. I mean, yeah, I went to school, advanced degree, all of that. I get education. It's how we learn things. And what we need to do from an education standpoint is learn more about aging and care. Along with my business partner, Peter Ross, the co-founder and CEO of Senior Helpers, we have just started a project to see how we can educate America about these complexities of aging, about these complexities of care, so people understand this at a younger age. What's a younger age? 35, 40 years of age? Why should we be teaching people that are 35, 40 years of age? Because they probably have parents that are 25, 30 years or more older than them. If you're 35, 30 years, 65. You're 40, 30 years, 70. And you want to know what's sad? In talking to a lot of contacts that I have in the senior care business around the country, we're starting to see the boomer generation that I'm smack in the middle of needing care sooner than their parents. I've talked about this. I've been in a lot of assisted livings, and the average age was about 85. We're starting to see people now in their early 70s need care. And what I've seen over the years, people get blindsided by that. Like my family did. Really didn't talk about what's going to happen as our parents age and things change for them physically, mentally, etc. So what Peter and I are trying to do is get input from some of the brightest people in the country about this issue of aging and senior care and elder care and education. How should we present this material to the public? What's going to help you guys listen? Someone talking to you. Is it a famous actor, someone else? Who are you going to listen to about this subject matter? Again, it's not fun. And again, it happens to all of us. At some point, our body gives out and we pass away. So what is that messaging? What is that messaging going to look like? We're working on that. Is that technology? I've assimilated this, and some of you are going to get it, to what we've seen on TV for the last 25 or 30 years with the public service announcements about smoking. We've changed how we smoke or don't smoke in this country. We've seen a female smoking out of her tracheotomy. Does that really make sense? Well, we need to do something similar. Is it going to be public service announcements? I don't know. Is it going to be something else? We're trying to figure that out. We're trying to figure out how we're going to get this messaging across to as many people as we possibly can. Again, from 35, 40 on up. Is our messaging going to be different for the 35-year-old compared to the 50-year-old, compared to the 70-year-old, compared to the 80-year-old? Yeah. You're in different points of your life. But understanding at 35 or 40, that guess what? You may wind up in the same situation my family did, where we're caring for our older loved ones. It may not even be something that's on your radar. It wasn't on ours. But the more information we can bring you at that younger age, so you start understanding if something does happen to mom or dad, or maybe you still have grandparents that are 75, 80, 90 plus, and something starts happening to them. What is this going to mean for them? What is it going to mean for you? Where are all the resources that, as I've talked about so much, what are these resources going to cost? So we're trying to figure out, by bringing, again, the brightest people in to give us input, what should this messaging look like? Short and sweet, a little longer. Folks, what are you going to pay attention to? I mean, everyone can do what my family did and not talk about it. And I'm telling you through personal experience, when you deal with it in crisis, as most people do, it's really hard. It's going to be easier if there's some sort of a plan for life. Understand that. So our first goal is talking to these folks, getting input. What should the messaging be, first of all? Then secondly, how do we get that messaging out to you? I'm being serious. What are you going to pay attention to? What are you going to listen to? I want your input. I'm going to give you that email now to reach out to me. Give me your input. Give me creative ideas that Peter and I maybe aren't thinking about. How do we get people across this country? I'm talking millions of people to start paying attention. That email, eldered2023@gmail.com. eldered2023@gmail.com. What is going to make people listen? As I've talked about, if we all keep moving north, if we keep aging, with the over 100 million people, when you start getting up to people over 40 and people over 35, now you're talking about 200 million people. And we're just going to move forward like it's not an issue? And do we need to make changes and better the way that people are cared for? Yeah. And where's everybody going to live? And what's going to happen if they're living in an apartment or condo and they rent that and they don't have that income coming in anymore to afford it? Where are they going to go? And where are they going to go if they get ill, they fall, or a combination of both? We got a lot to talk about. And this resistance to move out of the house and go to an assisted living or something like that, I get it. But as you do age, and taking care of the house is challenging, and you're being asked to do things that when you were 35, 40, 50, 60 were easy, aren't as easy now. We got to talk about all of that. Then we got to figure out what this messaging needs to look like. Then we got to figure out how we're getting this messaging out to you guys, like I said, so you'll listen. Then we got to figure out what's next. Okay, you get the messaging. You actually have a mom that's 3 states away and she could use some help. Where do you find all those resources? Who can help you in her hometown? We got to work on that too. And bring in the professionals that can help you. We got a lot to figure out. We're at the start of this journey. But again, we want your input. If you have some very creative ideas, share them with us. That email again, eldered2023@gmail.com. Folks, I've said this before, I don't want to be a downer. I've been doing this a long time. I'm stood in front of so many people, and I get the fact people don't want to talk about it. My wife and I probably didn't want to talk about it, and that's probably why we didn't talk about it. It's not fun, but it's real. You have a car. Most of us have car insurance. Why? In case something happens. You have a home. Most of us have a homeowner's policy. Why? In case something happens. So we're protecting ourselves just in case. Aging, care. Why do I need to talk about that? Because you need to protect yourself, your family, your loved ones, just in case. That's why we're going to do this national education project. We're trying to figure out a name for it right now. That's something we're talking about. Have input on that? Please share it. Folks, we need your help. We need your ideas. We need input. We are literally trying to change the way that people think about aging and the possibility of eventually needing care, which, as I've talked about, is pretty high, just because at some point our bodies give out. So as I get ready to close, think about it. We need your input. What's the message we want to get out? How are we going to get that messaging out? Do we need some famous celebrity to help us do that? Then we have to set up where you're going to get all the information that you need to take care of mom that lives 5 miles away, 5 states away, whatever the case may be. Then we have to bring the professionals together, the people that are there to help you do that. But we need to change that as well. We need to make sure we are doing the best job we can in preparing people for this and then actually providing the services when they're needed. So last time, that email again, eldered2023@gmail.com. Reach out, folks. Be part of this national education program. We're moving forward with this. It'll take some time. We're extremely excited about putting this together because we simply want to help. Until we talk again, have an awesome day.